Happy Thursday, traders. This is William from Bearable Traders, and we're going to do my recap in a slightly different way for fun, hopefully, for an interesting learning and sharing experience, where we're going to turn the recap into an interactive little test. We are going to have some fun and have you name a setup. Name that setup from what you see on the chart without my buy and sell indicators, and then we're going to compare that to what I saw, and then we're going to show what actually happened, and I'll show winners and losers. Okay, so we're going to test your trading skills and your acumen in a way, and I'm not saying that I'm right or wrong, but just test what you see, then compare that directly and quickly with what someone else sees, and then we'll compare that to what actually happened. And I'll give you 20 seconds. I'm going to actually really have you get a piece of paper or your computer and write this stuff down, okay? And then we're going to go over it. So hopefully it will be fun. So, for example, I took a Walmart trade today. I got in on Walmart I got in right here. Right after this 1 minute candle closes, I get in a trade, okay? Right after this 2 minute, right after this 5 minutes. So when I scroll over, you'll see my indicators, okay? Again, right in this 15 minute, and then the 60 minute chart would have been up here, so it's right around there on the 60 minute, okay? So I have all these time frames up because I use all of them in my trading. So what I want you to write down on the setup, and that was actually from a previous one, so don't worry, I was not giving it away right there. I want you to have your piece of paper or your phone or your computer and write down what setup do you see at the moment that I make a trade. What do you see from these charts? How much would you risk in that setup? How much would you get? What would your reward be? And winner or loser. And we'll get into more depth on this maybe in future videos as I fine tune it and get some feedback on how we want to do this, because I think it should be interesting. So I'm going to give you 20 seconds here, and I want you to write down those things, and then we'll compare that to what I saw and then compare that to what happened. So 20 seconds starts now. 10 seconds left. Keep going. Hopefully the music isn't irritating you. It's Jeopardy for anyone who doesn't know. All right, that was 20 seconds, okay? So if you still need more time, just pause it and then go on, right? If you're still thinking it through, that's totally fine. So what did I see? I saw a downward trend with wicks selling it down for a potential bear flag, but that bear flag ended with this inverted hammer. Even though this is an imperfect inverted hammer, because I want less of a wick, I saw that it had the inverted hammer at major support on the 1 minute 200 moving average and the 50 on the 5. So all my purple is 50 moving average, my orange is 200 moving average, and I saw that it was a big gap up on the daily, and the 60 minute looked really, really bullish. So I actually took this for a long, and my setup was an inverted hammer reversal. And within that setup, my risk is not the low of the day or this previous wick. It's not this 50. It's right at this wick. If this inverted hammer materializes how my setup dictates, it will not hit this wick. And if it does, I'm out. So I either put it right before the wick, right at the wick, or right under the wick, depending on my risk tolerance on that trade and how much the stock moves with slippage, right? If I do it right above the wick, I'm not going to lose slippage. If I put it under the wick, I might lose 5 to 10 in slippage. And if I put it way down here, not only will I lose 10 to 15 cents on slippage due to all the orders that are there, my risk is larger, which means if I'm going for a risk to reward, my reward has to be larger as well. So I want to minimize my risk at a technical level that doesn't lose slippage, which is why I put it right above this wick. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So now my risk is this without slippage, because I can get out before the big dump happens, almost always when you do it right before the candle break. But again, it's just a strategy. You could do it under the wick, and you'll have a little bit more likely of a chance for it to work out. Like, I'll get stopped out more frequently, but when I do get stopped out, I'm not going to lose on slippage. So inverted hammer marks the potential bottom. I enter long twice because I wanted to go double size here because it was such a great setup. right when the inverted hammer closes. And now, so my risk right here, I get in at 102. I'm risking about 30 cents. 30 cents. Now, how do I partial out? Well, first of all, I would only do a 2-to-1 at the very least. But right here on this setup, I don't look for risk to reward. If I'm playing an inverted hammer setup here with a downward trend and you got this inverted hammer wick, I am not allowed to partial out no matter what happens within this body until it breaks the wick, okay? Because an inverted hammer dictates that this is the bottom, that it's hopefully not going to touch, and then it's a reversal. So I want to hold. I don't want to partial out, okay? So then I get out right here at 103 technical level after it breaks and waiting for that to happen, and then right around this, which could be the support, get out at 103, which was also on the 1 here. You can see that that was the 50 at the 1. So I was getting out at resistance. So I was extremely happy with that. And it was a 3-to-1, and then a 4-to-1 and a 5-to-1. So my reward was around a 4-to-1 on that setup right there, okay? Picture perfect, very happy, taking an inverted hammer with support going in my direction on a gap up daily where buyers could step in. I'm happy with that. So I'm actually interested. Mark it down in the comments. What did you see? Did you see the inverted hammer? Did you see more of a bear flag? Did you see short under VWAP, right? We could do all these things, but because even though it was a short under VWAP, because I saw this formation with this support, I took it to go through the VWAP, okay? So comment below on what you saw. Now let's do another trade here. On QCOM, same thing here. I got in right after this 1 minute closes, right after this 2 minute, within this 5 minute candle here, right around there in this range. You know, it hadn't closed at the time, and within right about here within the 15 minutes. So it's hard for you to tell where this was at the moment. So I was really looking at the 1, the 2, and the 5 more so than the 15, which was probably a bad idea. Because I always I have the 15-minute chart up for a reason here, right? So that's what I always want to remember, to look at all the time frames. That's why they're up. So 20 seconds, what do you see? Starts now. Remember to set up the risk and to reward, whether it's a winner or a loser. All right, that was 20 seconds, okay? It goes by so fast, actually. What did I see? I saw VWAP breakthrough, okay? I saw strength in getting above VWAP. It was making the new 1 minute high above VWAP, trying to punch through, and I had the moving averages sloping up and crossing, so that looked great. Then I had the 2 minute, strength on the 2 minute, looking to go up again, bust through VWAP, and on a 5 minute, it was breaking the body here of that, trying to go up that way, okay? So then I was risking, I got in about 83.90, and I was risking right under this area consolidation. It was a really tight stop, but that's the power of VWAP. Once it goes, you're expecting it not to look back at times, okay? So my risk was honestly 10 cents, okay? Very nice. That was my risk. And then my reward was honestly high of day. I was looking for this high of day, so I was looking for about a 8-to-1. I was going to hold for an 8-to-1 within this. I thought the momentum was going to bring it back up. So my reward on this one was looking to be an 8-to-1. Because look, I got a 3-to-1. This right here, from 83.90 to 84.20 is 3-to-1. I had no partial out there, no point for me, even though I was risking 10 cents. Now look what happened though. Bam, the next candle, it just rejects and I get stopped out so fast. Okay. So now when I look back at that, I was like, oh, what did I miss? And in the moment, it's so clear what I missed. I mean, look at this. Look at the bigger time frame here. I'm trying to go long here on a big gap down, right? So I'm not going with the trend whatsoever, even though it looks like I'm going on with the trend on the 1 and the 2 and the 5. I'm actually not. So I was playing a reversal, okay, believe it or not. And I didn't realize it in the moment. I got stuck in not seeing the overall picture and just using VWAP. And then you guys know I use the 50 moving average. And then when I looked back and reviewed this trade, I was like, oh my goodness, look what I did. And I'm going to show you here because we're going to zoom out. Look at that 50. Look at it. That 50 is just marking resistance, okay? This was nothing, right? No volume. Resistance, resistance. Tries to touch it, can't. Tries to touch it, nicks it on a wick, nicks it on a wick. And then I tried to buy to go through that. And sure enough, I was wrong. I didn't see it in the moment. People took profit and people took the bounce off of it to short right there, right there, right there, right there. Look at that right there. And then finally, the first time it opened and closed, I mean, above the resistance, sure enough, that's when you get a little move up. Okay, not a big move up, but at least you had some sort of movement happening. And let's see, once it lost it again, you see those wicks just touching it and then dumping down? I didn't see that in the moment. And that was a losing trade, and I got stopped out on it, okay? So I'm curious, again, what did you see? Because I didn't see the whole picture there. I was trying to use only the smaller time frames against the bigger time frames. And on my Walmart trade, right, I didn't do that. I went with the bigger time frames and with the smaller time frame setups. So yeah, I'd be really curious. Please comment below to see if you like this and just comment on what you saw so I can learn too what other people see.